What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Justin Munitz, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. Today we're going to be talking about how to make Studio Flash look like that soft ambient window light that all of us know and love. So before we get into the video, I want to talk a little bit about the kind of light that we are referring to when we talk about window lights. It's not the light that happens when the sun streams directly through the window. It's the light that comes in, that is bouncing around on the outside indirectly and then coming back into the window. So the sun has gone past or is overhead the building that you're in and is illuminating everything else outside, and that light is bouncing back in, which is kind of what you're seeing me in now. So if I had to turn the camera around, you can see there's my window, and there's no direct sunlight coming in through here. So let's take you and let's give you a look at what that actually looks like. So if I stop down my exposure, you can see there is no direct sunlight. It's bouncing off there and all over there and then streaming back in through the window. So as you can see, there aren't any harsh shadows. The light is very soft and very even. One other factor that I want to talk about when it comes to shooting in window lights that is often overlooked, that is the aperture that you're shooting at. A lot of the time, natural light photographers like to shoot wide open or as close to wide open as possible. That in and of itself really lends the feel and the aesthetic of the image to something that's slightly softer and creamier than if you were shooting at, let's say, f8 or f13, where everything is in sharp detail. A lot of those beautiful soft natural light portraits, everything from, let's say, here back is sort of going off into a blurriness, nice soft bokeh. That is not to say that you can't shoot window light at higher f-stops. It's just that a lot of the time those photographs are shot with a wide open aperture, so it does lend itself to a softer, creamier image. So having said that, let's get right into it. First up, I'm going to take a picture just using the natural window light. Window, I'm going to stand on the white curve, and on the other side we have either a white wall, a white bed sheet. In my case, I have the advantage of using polyboards, which I can move around. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through my process. I've set my camera up on the tripod right over here, and I'm going to show you a little trick that I use that will allow me to quickly get an exposure that is close to accurate without me having to guess and reset my settings every single time. So that is the back of my camera. And what I'm going to do is switch it to live view, and I'm going to open up my, crank up my ISO to, I'm guessing, but I'm going to say around about 800 on my camera is pretty safe. And I can check my histogram. I'm shooting at 1/25 at 5.6. So in fact, I'm going to go down to 3.5 and we'll take a test shot and see what that looks like. I'm not sure if that is correct, but it kind of looks like it might be. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so for this I'm going to be using my trusty light meter. Remember, I said I want to shoot at around 3.5 as my aperture, because when shooting with natural light, you're often shooting at those softer, wide open apertures. So currently my camera is at ISO 800, so I'm going to bring that down and I'm going to take a picture of the studio without any ambient light at what I would normally set my camera to for studio lighting, which would ideally, you want to kill all the ambient light. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that at 3.5, but I'm going to take a shot and I'll show you what that looks like, and you can see how close I can get that, so that we know that the flash is the only thing that is going to be influencing the scene. Bring my ISO back down to 100. It's 100 ISO. It's 1/25 of a second at 3.5. So it's still quite bright, and I'll just take one test shot. So we can see that there is still a fair amount of light that is influencing the scene. So what I'm going to have to do is close down the curtains. So not sure if you can see that. Getting a little bit of light, but now the light is only coming from that top window, and unfortunately I cannot block that. I've got my light meter and I've got the flash trigger, and what I'm going to do is try to get the flash power to 3.5 just by pressing the flash control unit, and then I can dial up my power until I hit the desired aperture. Okay, so I've got 3.6 on the light meter. That's more than close enough for me, and let's see what that looks like. For this test, all I used was a giant umbrella. This is roughly, I want to say 180 something, 182 maybe, or 165. It's relatively inexpensive, probably 1,000 Rand or so, a couple of $100 at the most. If that, you can get cheaper ones. I will try doing this using only a bare bulb flash and shooting it through a diffusion material and see if we can get a close result, because not everybody has access. Another option we can try to do is to emulate natural light by using just the flash head and bouncing it into maybe a white wall or a white cloth. And another exercise we could do is to shoot with one of these, just a really cheap speed light. I think this cost me around, at the time it was $80, which again is really relatively inexpensive. I'll leave links below to the gear that I use so that you can check that out for yourself and purchase what you need according to your budget. So let's go ahead and do that and see how close we can get doing a bare bulb through a scrim and then using this little guy and see if we can get something very similar. As you can see, there is the bare bulb with a standard reflector through a piece of diffusion material. You could use anything that is translucent, even a white bed sheet, provided it's not too thick. So let's go ahead and see what this is going to look like and how close to natural light it will be. Okay, so once again I'm going to go and meter the light so that I get close to 3.5, just to make sure that my aperture is consistent with everything that we've been doing today. For the next trick, I'm going to take that very underpowered speed light, and we are going to try just to use that to bounce into even this white sheet, see if we can get something that is similar in look and feel to what we've been doing this afternoon. Set my speed light up to fire directly into that very same sheer curtain that we were using before. Because it is white, it's reflective, and I'm hoping that enough light is going to bounce back into the scene to create a very similar soft, even looking light. So again, you could use a white wall, a white sheet, anything that's white, obviously, because it's not going to cast a color. What I've had to do is increase my ISO on my camera because it is very underpowered in comparison to what we've been using. So for me to get the same camera settings that we had before, I've had to do is increase my ISO on my camera to compensate for the lack of power of this very small flash unit. So let's go ahead and take a photo and see what that looks like. What's up guys, thanks for watching the video. I realized after cutting it and editing, I did leave out a few things with regards to window lighting. That was one specific style of light where your subject is placed a few meters away from the window. I think later on I might do another video with more of a straight on sort of soft lighting that you would find closer to the window, you know, if you were in a corridor where outside in a thin narrow alley or in open shade, and sort of shooting in that type of lighting in studio, recreating that type of soft lighting. So that's all from me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the section below. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.